afternoon, squaddies, and welcome to the Q&A, which is in Tech Will's car. We are on our way to Wales to celebrate our 1-year wedding anniversary. I don't know where the past year's gone, but it has flown by, and I shared our proposal video with you guys just to kind of bring back some memories, because I know some of you were actually there at the time. Gosh, that was in November 2020 now. So some of you have been with us from the very, very start, so you might remember that. But yeah, we're celebrating our anniversary a bit early. So we didn't actually get married until the 8th of September, but we're using this bank holiday weekend as a great opportunity to just go and spend a couple of nights away together. Some quality time. So a very warm welcome, and please make sure that you have, number one, use this weekend to plan your classes for the week ahead, depending on when you're listening to this. I like to do mine on Saturday morning, sometimes Sunday, but I usually like to do it on Saturday, so I know that I'm sorted for the week ahead. And then number two, get yourself opted into the step challenge. We're starting on the 4th of September. It's a Monday. Thought I'd give everyone a chance to get back into a routine, kids back to school, etc. And we start on the Monday, but you need to opt in. It's going to be 3 teams, Team Lorna, Will and Laura, and you've got 21 days to see how far each team can walk from Nottingham to wherever you get to. See which team wins. I think my team will win. Will, what do you think?
My team only has winners in it, so...
No, I think mine will win. Or maybe Laura's will, but no, I'm going to win. Anyway, let's move on to the questions. Question number 1. I've put weight on over the summer. How can I get my mojo back, and how can I feel fitter and more toned? So firstly, what I'd say here is, look, it doesn't matter what's already happened. It doesn't matter what's happened already over summer. What's important is what happens next. And it's great that you're already thinking about, okay, this has happened, whatever, what can I do about it? What can I do moving forwards? And here is exactly what you need to do. Step 1, you need to think about your goals. Where are you heading? Like, what do you want to achieve in what time frame? And make sure it's something realistic. So let's say that you put, I don't know, I'm just making this up. Let's say you put 4 pounds on over the summer. So you want to say, okay, by the end of next month, so in 4 weeks' time, I want to have lost 3 to 4 pounds, something like that. So you've got your time figure, your frame. Get your words out, Lorna. You've got the time frame, and then you've also got your goal, where you're heading. But even more importantly than that, you've got to think about why you want to do that. So ask yourself why 3 times. Why do I want to lose 4 pounds? Well, because it'll make me feel better. Why will it make you feel better? Because I know that I'll feel more confident when my clothes fit nicer. Okay, why do we want that? Oh, because I've got this really nice outfit that I always like to wear, and it's really upsetting me that it's feeling tight at the moment. And you know, you can keep going on and on and on, but ultimately that is down to confidence. And you know, you want to feel your best in your clothes, so you feel more confident and happier in yourself. So it's just about finding, okay, what's the intrinsic motivation moving forwards? Why do I want to do this? And here's the goal that I'm going to be aiming towards. Now, there's no point in thinking about the end goal all the time. You've got to think about the little steps along the way. So we break it down. So we don't think about, okay, we'll break it down 1 pound at a time. No, that's not how we do it. What we do is we break it down in terms of what you've got to do with your food and your nutrition and everything else. And actually, they're more important, and you'll understand what I mean when you do it or when I explain. Firstly, the workouts. What is going to be achievable for you to do in that time frame, or just in general life, to get into a good routine? So I always say to everyone getting started with us, try and do 3 workouts a week. If you're on a weight loss journey, I would probably prioritize making sure you're getting your steps up and making sure you get at least a couple of strength workouts in there, because when you do lose weight, you want to hold on to that muscle tone. You want that shape. So I would be making sure that you write a plan for your workouts. What's going to be achievable? Don't tell yourself, right, I'm going to do 7 workouts every week and go from none to 7. It's just not sustainable. So something that's going to be achievable that you know you can absolutely 100% hit. You could even have okay, here's a non-negotiable 100%, I have to hit this. And then if I do, ideally I might do 1 or 2 more than that, or 3 more or whatever. But that's my non-negotiable. That's what I'm going to hit. So there you go, workouts. I would personally try and get as much variety in as you can. So strength, cardio, and holistic, like Pilates. So you're working your core and you're working your mobility and your flexibility. Secondly, nutrition. It's going to come down to portion sizes. Go on the nutrition guide, go through there, have a look at the portion size guide, and try and stay consistent with your nutrition. Make sure everything you try as well, you're doing it for a reasonable amount of time. You can't do something for a week and then just decide, oh, doesn't work, no, got to try something else. You've got to try something for at least 3-4 weeks to know whether it's working or not. So I would say make a little meal plan for yourself. Make sure you're prioritizing protein, because it helps you hold on to that lean muscle tissue. It also keeps you fuller for longer, and it's just good for your hair, skin, nails. More protein, please. Base every meal around a protein source, and then maybe just a couple of snacks, 1 or 2 snacks throughout the day. So you've got breakfast, lunch, dinner, and then 1 or 2 snacks that are either fruit or a protein-based snack, like a pot of Greek yogurt, or if you like having boiled eggs, or I don't know, whatever you like for your protein. So that's what you want to do there. Try it consistently. So really similar meals, if not the same, like just switching out the protein source. If it doesn't work, then you reduce your portion size by 20%. Try that for a month. It doesn't work, you rinse and repeat. I mean, at the end of the day, we set ourselves these goals. We want to make sure they're sustainable. But as long as we're heading in the right direction, you know, does it matter if it takes a couple of weeks longer or even twice as long? Not really. Not at all. You're still going the same way. So that's what you want to do. Then in other areas, you want to be focusing on staying hydrated, managing your stress levels and your sleep, because they all contribute. And aside from that, it's just about being consistent. It's about showing up on the days that you don't want to, on the days that you don't feel like it, on the days you'd much rather do something else. Staying consistent and making that promise to yourself and keeping it, because you are the most important person that you can keep promises to. You do that and you'll feel more assured in yourself, and you'll improve your discipline, and you'll be happier. You'll be happier because you know that whatever target you set for yourself, right, I'm going to do 3 workouts this week, and you do it, you will believe the things that you set for yourself. You will trust yourself. So don't break the trust with yourself. That's my best tips for getting your mojo back and losing your weight after summer. Question number 2. I've been making slight changes, but I've been losing my way a little bit, Lorna. How can I get motivated, and how can I curb my sweet tooth? So I'm going to tackle this question in 2 ways. So firstly, I'm going to talk about the motivation side, and then secondly, we will talk about the sweet tooth. So a lot of people say, yeah, I just can't do it because I'm just not motivated. And the thing is, I completely understand. Like, no one feels 100% motivated all the time. Nobody. Not even me. Okay? Like, I might be more motivated than some people, but I don't rely on it to do my workouts or to achieve what I want to do, because it's not going to be there all the time, and that's okay. That's completely normal. So what do you need to do instead? What you need to do instead is focus on discipline. And you have to do this yourself. So you got to think about, so similar to the other question, thinking about, why do you want to do this? Why do you want to get fitter? Is it so that you live a long, healthy life with minimizing the health complications? Is it so that you can run around with your kids? Is it so that you can run around with your grandkids? Is it so you go into your 50s or your 60s or whatever feeling fit and feeling fabulous and feeling healthy? Why do you want to do this? So think about that for a moment. It might be something more short term, like you've got a wedding coming up and a dress that you really want to wear. It could be absolutely anything. So why do you want to do this? Why is it important to you? Then you've got to understand that we can't sit around and wait for motivation to come, because it just doesn't work like that. It won't come. You'll just be sitting around forever. The time is now. you have to do something without wanting to do it first, okay? You have to take the action, and the action creates the motivation. So when you do the thing, so say you've been putting off your workouts, right? And then you're like, really, really don't want to do it. I'd rather pull my hair out or do anything. Then you do the workout. You realise that, oh, actually, that wasn't that bad, or it was nowhere near as bad as I thought it was going to be. And then you feel really good for it. And you feel really good because you've got the feel-good endorphins and buzzing around your body. But also you feel really good because you promised yourself you'd do it. Then you did it. And you feel proud of yourself for doing it, which makes you want to do it more. And a little hack here, when you do your workout, at the end of it, just reflect on how you feel, because that is the lasting thought. So if you feel like, oh, I feel so much better now I've done that, I feel more energized, just say it to yourself, like out loud or in your head. I feel so much more energized now. And you'll remember that. You keep doing that and you'll build this really positive relationship with exercise, where actually it becomes something that you really, really just want to get home and get your gym kit on, because you're dying to do that combat or that yoga or Pilates or whatever it might be, because you want to feel good. So that's what I would do. Action first. So just know that it's going to be hard at the beginning, but all you got to do is take that first step and just do it, and then you'll feel better for doing it. Then you've got to think about the alternative as well. So what's the alternative? That I just stay stuck and I don't do anything, and I continue to feel sluggish, or maybe go in a bit of a downward spiral. That's your alternative. Or you do something and you feel better for doing it. You'll never feel worse after doing a workout, I promise you, or working towards your goals or whatever you want to achieve. And sometimes, you know what we have to do? And this is what I had to do on my run today. So I'm training for a marathon at the moment, and today was a 16-mile run. Parts of it I was like, yeah, this feels pretty good. Yeah, loving it. And then other parts, when you get into like mile 12, and you're like, oh, I still have quite a way to go yet. I don't really feel like doing this. Oh, I need a bit of tune on. And all of this starts coming out. And I just literally thought to myself, Lorna, you're doing it whether you like it or not. And you know, at the end of this run, you're going to feel so good for doing it. So proud of yourself for doing it. Just pull on your big girl panties and get on with it. Sometimes you just have to do that. You just have to adult yourself. So there you have it. When you keep flexing this discipline muscle, you will become more disciplined. So there's an example of me where in that moment I just really didn't feel motivated, but I was going to do it anyway, whether I liked it or not. So I was flexing my discipline muscle. The more you work that, the stronger the discipline will get. Versus if you keep flexing your excuses muscle, where you're giving yourself excuse after excuse after excuse, that muscle's going to get stronger. And I know which one I'd rather get stronger. So start flexing that discipline muscle. It's just little steps, one at a time. So take action. Think about why you want to do it. Just get on with it. Now the other part, so curving that sweet tooth. Now it's really important so a lot of people will say to me, Lorna, I need to cut sugar out. Like, why do you need to cut sugar out? Why? Why do you need to go teetotal on it? It's really important to have a little bit of what you want as well, because if you don't, it ends up being this big red button that you're not allowed to touch, and all you can think about is that thing. So if you tell yourself, right, not having chocolate, I'm done with chocolate, that's it, chocolate is bad. I mean, one, don't go labeling food as good or bad, because there's no such thing. Everything in moderation. But number two, it's one, either a really miserable way to live, or two, really over restrictive, and you're not going to be able to keep it up. So don't make yourself miserable. Have a little bit of what you want, and don't let it be sorry, I don't know what happened there. Be the big red button that you're not allowed to touch, because you can. Now, of course, there are alternatives and there are little hacks and things you can do. So if you find that actually you just can't stop at a little bit, you need to prove to yourself that you can. Number one, you could ride the wave. Prove to yourself that actually I can do this, and it is in my power. It is my choice. Because a lot of people forget that you ultimately choose what you put into your mouth. You have the power and you have the choice. A lot of people think, oh no, it's my craving. No, it's not. It's you with your hand putting it into your mouth. So just take a step back and think about literally what you are doing. then you can always do things like just keep it out of sight, out of mind. You could put whatever it is, say like the sweets or the biscuits or whatever you get cravings for, just in the right at the back, in the back cupboard, that you have to go and get a little step ladder to go and reach. Or you could put a little buzzer on the door. You could do all those little things. Or you could have it out the house for a little while, if that just really helps you. It helps some people. Like, I wouldn't go cutting things out completely, but if you just need a little bit of time out from it, then, you know, keep it out of the house. Don't bite in for a little bit. And aside from that, to manage cravings, you want to make sure you're having balanced meals. So making sure that your blood sugar is more stable, so you're not having huge dips and huge spikes. So having really balanced meals, focusing on nourishing foods, whole foods, protein, making sure you're staying hydrated, managing your stress. That's really, really important. And using the HALT technique. So HALT is H-A-L-T. H, do I feel hungry right now? A stands for angry, but you can use it as emotion. Do I feel emotional right now? Is this why I'm doing it? L stands for loneliness, but we're using it in this circumstance as bored. Am I bored? And T, am I just tired? Just think about that for a moment. Just put that pause in there, and that pause reminds you that you're in control of your decisions. And you could always go for more, say, sweet things that are more natural. So like berries and things like that, just to satisfy the sweet tooth. I hope that's useful. Question 3. After having 2 babies, I want to feel more comfortable in my body and I want to strengthen my core again. Any ideas? Yes. I would make sure, firstly, obviously you had the A-OK from a medical professional to be going back to exercise. And as long as you have, just please remember that everyone's journey is completely and utterly different after having children, despite when you had them or how soon after this is. Everyone's journey is going to be completely different, and it's so important to be kind to your body. Like, you've just done a miracle. Be kind to you. Make it a gradual process. And if you're wanting to build strength in your core, the most important class you can do is Pilates. So I would be looking at doing Pilates, and I'd be looking at doing a really good mixture of things as well, seeing how it feels in your body. So gradually going back to strength work, gradually going back to yoga, gradually going back to your cardio classes. Some people like to start off low impact, just to strengthen up the pelvic floor a little bit, and then move to the jumping stuff a bit later on. It just really, really depends on you and what you feel like. You could start off with shorter classes, so doing things on demand, and then build it up over time. You could increase your intensity over time as well. And aside from that, making sure you're staying really hydrated, nourishing your body. I was gonna say manage your sleep the best you can, but do what you can there. It's a case of controlling the controllables, isn't it? If the sleep pillar isn't there, make sure you're focusing on your getting back into activity, looking after yourself in terms of your stress, and making sure you are doing something for you. It's not self-indulgent to look after mum, not at all. Mum's just done something huge. Mum spends all the time looking after everyone else, and to be able to look after everyone else and give them your full attention, you've got to look after you as well. So it's not self-indulgent to be getting back to your workouts and thinking about your health. It's actually the least selfish thing you can do. So just making sure that you work on those things, your workouts, your nutrition, and managing your stress and your hydration the best you can. And also go and check out the postnatal area on the website. So there's a few useful videos on there, just about returning back to exercise and what you can do. But like I said, everyone's journey is a little bit different, and it's really important to be so in tune with how you feel when you're doing exercises. Question number 4. How can I improve my strength, stamina, and overall fitness without focusing solely on weight loss? I'm really, really glad you brought this up, because a lot of people really get fixated on a number, where it's actually more important for your overall well-being and health to be focusing on other things. So your weight isn't determined by a number. You are not a number. So we focus on other things like your strength gains and your fitness gains. So one thing you can do So first thing that comes to my mind with strength is we do stronger in releases. So one thing you could do is do a stronger release and focus on building your weight up and building your strength. So when you get to week 5 or let's say 5 or 6 of doing that release, you're able to lift heavier and it feels easier than it did week number 1. So you could set yourself little goals like that. You could set yourself goals of your workout. So you might start off by doing 3 workouts a week, and then say by the end of 6 weeks, you're doing 5 regular workouts a week. That's progression. You could set yourself a challenge in terms of your yoga. Yoga flow is another great one where we use the same routine for a few weeks and you can actually see your progression over the weeks. Or it might be the fact that when you first start, you're just doing 10 or 15 minutes of a class, and then by the end you're doing the full class. It might be that you're currently doing aerobics and you're putting off HIIT with weights because you know it's going to be a tough one, and then by the end of 6 weeks, you know, you increase it, so you start doing a bit of HIIT and a bit more and a bit more and a bit more. Or maybe use sculpt as the bridge. That's a good one to do as a bridge between, like, say your cardio fitness to HIIT. Like, say if you're doing, I don't know, if you're doing aerobics or something like that, or power walking at the moment, or Zumba, and you want to take it to HIIT, high intensity stuff, you could use sculpt as a bridge. So you could look at progression that way. But what I would do is I would write down and journal every day, like, things that are going really, really well with your health and fitness. Are you sleeping better? How does your energy feel? Are your energy levels improving? Are you eating better? Are you hitting the workouts you set out for yourself? Are you getting stronger within your workouts? And keeping a little diary and just journaling how it's all going so you can see progression that way. And also by journaling and reflecting, you're building a relationship up with yourself where you are working with yourself. And if you just keep on focusing on ticking those boxes, like your food, your meal plans that you make for yourself, so go to the nutrition area and do what I said earlier, you know, where you've got a consistent plan. As long as you're ticking that off, and then you are focusing on your workouts, you're ticking those off, you're ticking off your water, you're getting some good sleep, you're managing your stress, you know, the outcomes is in the weight loss, that will just sort itself out. So just focus on, the little steps along the way. And as always, be kind to you. Progression comes in lots of different forms, and you're not a number. Question number 5. What would you recommend in terms of breakfast cereals as a healthy option? So when you're looking at breakfast cereals, you want to be going for something that is higher in fiber, has more natural ingredients, and is low in sugar. Your whole grain varieties. That could be things like, the number 1 really is porridge. That is the best thing, and you can add your own toppings to that as well. That's what I have, that's what I love to have, and I change it up every so often, whether I put like different flavored protein powder in, or I put, I don't know, some honey on, berries, or some banana, or a sprinkle some seeds on, or whatever. You can do all sorts with porridge. That's probably your number 1. Then you've got things like Weetabix and your shredded wheat and your bran flakes and corn flakes. The Jordan cereals tend to be pretty good. Ooh, sorry about the bump. The Jordan cereals tend to be pretty good. Alpen, Special K, Lizzie's granola, which is like quite low in sugar. But generally, just looking at the back of the pack and seeing what has the least ingredients in, you know, the least amount of additives, making sure there's no added sugar. And when you're looking for fiber as well, choose something that is about between 3 to 5 grams of fiber per serving. With cereals as well, sometimes, just as a little side note, you've got to be a bit careful with the portion sizes. So I don't know if you've ever done this, where, you know, those little boxes that you get at hotels or when you go away and you pour it into a bowl and it's like, oh my gosh, there's like nothing there. How is this a portion size? Cereals tend to be a ridiculously low portion size for what they suggest on the packet. You don't have to follow their portion size. Sometimes it's like 100 and something calories, which isn't going to feed anyone. So don't worry too much about that. But I would just say, don't go overboard with it. I'm not saying you have to weigh your cereal out forever. You might want to say the first time, so you can eyeball, okay, what's the portion size or what do I want to aim for. But yeah, that's what I would do. Or what you can do is you can add, like, say, Greek yogurt, just to make it a little bit more filling and whatnot. But that is what you want to look for, and there's just a few ideas of some brands as well that you can get from, well, probably from your local supermarket, from your Tesco. Anyway, gang, that's it for the live. Well, it's not so live, is it? I did this as a recording. It's currently 5:15 on a Friday, because I didn't know if we'll be going in and out of signal on the motorway. So I hope you have enjoyed this. Have a lovely, lovely, lovely bank holiday weekend, and I will see you next week. Stay in touch on the Facebook group, gang, and have a fab weekend. See you soon. Do you want to say bye, Will?
Bye, everyone.